Hey everyone, I hope you're good. I'm Steph Cruchon, the founder of Design Sprint Ltd and facilitator of Design Sprints. We have been doing that for the last 6 years full time. Today, I have a very special video for you because I'm really excited actually. I got my invite to test the new feature of Miro called Miro Smart Meetings. And I think I've been part also of that story of building the functionality. So I'm super excited to discover it. And so actually it's not a beta access. I got it's an alpha access, so I assume it's very early. But we're gonna test that together and see how it looks and works. And really can't wait to start using it. So before we dive in, I just wanted to tell you a bit the context of this video and also my implication with this tool. So as you guys know, I'm a good friend of Jake Knapp, the creator of the Design Sprint, and Jake works with Miro. He's an advisor for them. So basically Miro, I think, had a really smart idea to ask Jake to help them build a better Miro for workshops like Design Sprints. Why Design Sprint is interesting is because, it's a workshop that is used by more and more companies worldwide. It's probably one of the most complex workshops you can run because it's 5 days long. So it's really a long workshop with a lot of activities. And asking Jake, to improve Miro is also a great way to make that tool really top notch and having the best functionalities and make it more future-proof. So Jake came to me, and because he knows I run a lot of Design Sprint, I have been building a template for Miro that is quite popular. It's this is the template that we also use for our own Design Sprint, so you can find it for free on Miro to use, and that's our template of Design Sprint. And Jake asked me, okay, Steph, you have built that template. Can we send you a couple of questions on how you will improve Miro for Design Sprints? So I was like, yeah, cool. And Jake said, could you maybe make a video about your thoughts? I was like, yeah, of course, because I love to make videos, right? So actually, this is the video I recorded to just share my thoughts about how to improve Miro for Design Sprints, for example. And so the video was made in the dark because the quality is really bad, I realized. But anyway, was made in February 2021. So this year we are right now we are in October 2021. So it's very interesting to see when I recorded the video, giving my first ideas, and now the features are out. So this is really exciting. So there is actually a very interesting part in that video that I would like to show you now. So this was recorded in February this year. If you could have a magic wand and create a perfect tool for remote design sprint, what would it be like? I think you guys are on a good track. I mean, the tool is great, but I've seen lately this this template. So it's the TED's template for design sprint. It's way too many screens, it's the opposite of what I try to do. I try to have something clean, minimal, with the least possible things on the screen. And here is to me, it looks like a mess. But I understood what they were actually doing, because it's kind of it's kind of the idea of a slide deck, but on Miro. I couldn't facilitate a sprint with such a tool, but I understand what they were trying to do. And in my perfect vision, what you guys should do, a tool specific for design sprint, will be that idea of kind of slides, but with this simplicity, or something even more simple. And what I have in mind is kind of Keynote, Apple Keynote. When I run design sprints, in a physical space, I have my Keynote deck, like slide deck, and I go slide by slide. And it would be so cool if you could break that complexity apart and put put each exercise on one slide. Basically, this could be one slide, this could be one slide, and I could maybe add my own images and my own animations on the slide deck, like an actual slide deck, but interactive, so I could invite people and we could do the exercises on the slide. What would be also amazing, so I have a PC here, I don't have a Mac, so I can't show you, but I love two features of Keynote. One, okay, let's assume that you have all your workshop that is a slide deck. So here you could be voting on this one. And for some reason, I don't know, you want to change the flow of your sprint. Maybe not a design sprint, but your workshop. You can just take that slide and you just can drag and drop and put it later in the flow. Interesting, right? So I'm not saying I invented the functionality. I gave this feedback. I assume some other facilitators came with a similar approach or similar feedback. But it's super cool as a user to bring that as inputs in February, and then in October you see that the feature is out and that they have been listening to their customers, right? Like I'm a UX designer, and for me it matters a lot that the tools I use, the people behind the tools listen to the customers and actually trying to improve them. So let's look together at these smart meetings of Miro and the promise. Let's watch the video first. That's cool. Yeah. You see that?
Hello.
Okay, it's looking really good, right? Okay, so a lot of drums, but it's looking really good. I'm especially excited about the keynote style feature where you can basically create some frames or artboards with your slides and your activities, and that you can go activity by activity. It shows in the video that you can reorder them, so that's really something I was looking for. And also there is they talk about voting, voting slides. So I'm very interested about this because I think one of the low quality or the low point with Miro is the voting. That is not as good as some of the competitors that I'm not going to mention, but they are pink and you know exactly who they are. So I guess the voting works better with the others, and Miro is a bit like it's not that advanced in that space. So I really hope they have improved that to get a better voting experience. So let's dive. All right, so I'm just creating a board on Miro, a new board, and I'm gonna call it test. It's called what? Smart meetings, right? Okay, that's nice. Okay, so far there's no big change. This is new. Organize people into breakouts for smaller group collaboration. Okay. Yeah, so it's something I've heard that they wanted to do that. The idea is to use the same logic like Zoom, I assume, to have breakout rooms, like the group, to split the group on several artboards. So I assume I will need some people to test that, so maybe I will test that later on in the video when I find some people to test. Okay, but it looks... Yeah, I can create the number of rooms, like 2 rooms, create 2 rooms, link with frame. So I need to have frames created. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's create 1 frame. Frame 1. Frame 2. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay, super easy. All right. And then I assume I can assign some people. I see here unassigned. So I assume if I had people, I could basically send them to some rooms and then start breakout. Yeah, okay, well, this I can test because I need some people. I will check with some more people. Oh, but this is really cool. This is something I actually... wait, you can see that. All right, so this feature, lock participants to linked frame, is actually really cool. It's something I've advised them to do. You know, like when you run a workshop, you don't like when people go everywhere on the board and are lost because they, I don't know, they are zooming or going like the opposite of the board. And I'm like, no, but we're here. So I know there are these great features like summon or that bring everyone to me so they will come to me. But I think it would be so cool if we could lock people in one working space or frame and they're not going everywhere, and then you can unlock them so that's they can go somewhere else. But I think if I can have that control as a facilitator to make sure that people are actually working in the same space, that would be a great help for me. So this looks really, really promising. Okay, great. So the breakouts I'm gonna test later because I saw that there is this too, and I guess it's, yeah, okay, that's where the most of the things are. So try out the easiest way to achieve big things together. Okay, big promise. Create frames with meeting contents. All right. Okay, you can vote on the frames. Yeah, okay, so there are breakout frames. Okay. Preview the participant's experience. Interesting. Hit start when it's time to meet. Okay, cool. So I already created 2 frames. I hope it's not gonna make a mess. I will create frames. Okay, frame 3. Okay, frame 3, it's here, and then I can set a time. Okay, which I'm not sure I'm gonna do because, you know, when I run sprints, I like to have a bit of flexibility. So I never know really in advance how long that activity is gonna take exactly. So I kind of do it on the spot. I know pretty much like maybe it's gonna be 15 minutes, but maybe the group is a bit slower, so I will give them 18 minutes or 20. So I'm not sure I will use that, but it could be cool in some workshops that are really high pace where you really have to time track. I assume you can change the name of the frame. Hello. Yeah, cool. Really cool. And here, add activity. Okay. So that's cool. I mean, if your frame is special, like you want to have a voting or breakouts inside that frame. Breakout inside frame. Okay, that's cool. And then the timer is pretty much, what's this? Yeah, so okay, timer, I don't know what this is. No activity. I will go with no activity for first. Okay, so I created 1 frame and then I can add, okay, that's so cool. I can add the frames, they populate in here with the same format. So hello, frame 3, frame 4. Okay. So really you need to use that tool to create the frames because the first one I created, the first 2, sorry, they are not taken into account, so I will go just with the tool. Okay, nice. And here I can just design my activities, so I could write hello team. So that's my frame number 1. Okay. I'm just gonna set a background color. I think it makes it a bit nicer to look at. Yeah, so I can really have my deck. So then I can put my slides, and it could, you know, it could become a presentation deck, I assume, because I could go with all my deck, but then there are interactive slides. So that's exactly what I wanted to do. This is really, really cool. So let's go like with typical design sprint. The first activity is the long-term goal. So okay, a bit big, sorry. So I can go here. So for long-term goal, I will give one sticky per participant. So let's assume there are 5. I will put my title in here. Oops, sorry. Long-term goal. Okay. And here, second activity, I'm gonna go with the sprint questions, which is the second exercise of the sprint. Sprint questions, and I will use the same stickies, but maybe use the red ones. Let's be professional. Let's align the stickies, right? And yeah, we'll use the big ones. Okay, cool. So I already have the beginning of a workshop. It's the very, very beginning of the of the sprint, I will say. It's very lean, but so I like it because I have that sequence of slides. Basically, I will just change the names. So that's long-term goal, and that's sprint questions. Oops. Yeah, so because I'm recording the video, I need to use a PC, so that's not my best keyboard. I'm a bit more snappy on Mac, of course, but sprint questions. Good. All right, I have a workshop, the beginning of a workshop. So if I go start, okay, so I guess the whole team is joining here. It would be really cool to test with some people actually. But I have the whole team in here, and then I go next slide, everyone follows, next slide, super easy. If I want to reorder to have the sprint questions first, so I assume I have to stop, right? Yeah. And then I reorder. Oh, it's so good. So if I zoom back, I see that the slides are not changing the order. So I need to do it manually. But, yeah, wait, I should have tried without reordering. So if I go here, start, hello, long-term goal, sprint questions. Great. And now if I reorder, sprint questions. Sprint questions, hello. Okay, that's what I wanted. Hello, sprint questions, long-term goal. Super cool. Super cool. Easy breezy. This, I think, it looks so simple, but you know what? For me, it's gonna be a game changer because I can really like prepare my whole workshop with some slides, content, like just information, but also some activities, and really to make a flow that is easy to digest and easy to follow for the participants. Do I have this feature that I can lock people on the same artboard? So sprint questions, can I lock them here? Remove frame from meeting, lock. No, this is gonna lock like the typical Miro. So it's not what I want to do. All right, so I guess maybe in settings, see frames you present, use sticky notes, stickers, and emojis. Okay. No, so it's not what I wanted. So that would be really cool. Like in the breakout rooms, that I could lock people inside the slide. That would be really a great help. But I guess it's gonna come because I saw it's only in alpha, so it's normal that not everything is implemented in alpha. I'm really interested about the votes. So let's try to wait. Just gonna put them in the right order. So let's try to add a vote on the long-term goal. So I saw that the activity is here. Yeah, voting. All right. How does it work? So voting is here. Wait, do I have that only on that slide, or if I go here, if I go on sprint questions, do I have the voting? Yeah. Okay, so here I'm a bit confused because you see that one is specifically marked as a voting slide, and I don't really see a big difference, to be honest. So maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe, okay, maybe I should play it. Start, next, and then voting should start, no? All right, so here I'm a bit confused. I'm expecting, something to show up like a model, a pop-up, or whatever that triggers a vote. I can maybe click here. Well, yeah, so here I will start a vote. Oh, but this has been redesigned, right? So I will give 3 votes, yeah, for 1 minute. I can select objects. Ah, that's so cool. This is new, this. I can select objects that they can vote. I will unselect that one just to see. 1 vote per object, yeah, that can be useful. Start. Yeah. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see when I come on the slide. Join voting. Okay, I can vote. This is so cool to have the the little dots, you know, just like in a physical sprint. That's super, super cool. I can cast my votes. Votes finished. Yeah. End voting session. Preparing results. Oh, wow. Okay. This is very nice. This is really, really cool. Wow. Okay. You know, it's one of the feedback I gave to Miro in that video is that currently the voting is not that good, is not that clear, you know, what the results are. And what I like with the big competitor of Miro, which is Pink, is that the dots, they stay attached to the stickies. You see, it's not like you have to add them manually. And here it looks like it's the case, and I love the UI that you see. Since it's two dots, it looks bigger. So it makes it very clear who won, and it's very easy then to sort them, to sort the best long-term goal and to do something with it. So this is really awesome. I think it could be even cooler if we could maybe change the color of the dot of the vote, because maybe you might want to do something with it. And okay, so I still have that panel. Let's look at something if I close. Okay. Yeah, okay, this is a bit annoying. What I would love with the voting is that the dots, they stay attached to the sticky, or you could choose to keep them attached. Why? Because you want later on in the workshop, especially for other exercises like How Might We, you want to always see the dots, like how much they were voted. So right now what we do, we need to kind of record the votes and then to add, you know, like manually some dots like that, which is kind of painful, because you see, just to have kind of the recording of what was voted, so that's when you zoom back on your canvas, you see exactly, you know, what were the most voted stickies. So I wish that we could keep the votes attached to them. I assume that, wait, I'm just gonna check something. I assume that you have quite a history of the vote. So if I go here, yeah, okay, I guess if I go to results, yeah, I can see the history. But I think it's way too hidden, because as a participant, the participants in the workshop, they will never do that. Go to votes, go to results, select the voting session, and just to see the result. I think this is too hard. So yeah, I think, okay, it's 90% perfect. Honestly, it's amazing. I'm so happy to see that, because I think they really improved the voting experience compared to what exists now. I'm a little confused about this, because I've triggered the voting activity and nothing showed up. So I don't exactly understand how it works. Here, let's try the timer on the sprint questions. So if I go play next, I was already here. Yeah, same thing. Okay. You have to press on it. Timer. Okay, so the timer showed up. But what's the difference if I go to hello and I can turn on the timer, right? Wait, if I hide the timer, I go on hello, I can show the timer. Yeah, so I'm not very sure about the you know, how useful it is to have these pre-built activities, because you can trigger them at any time in your workshop, maybe just to save one click. But I don't exactly know what's the point of this. So what I will do, I guess, right now is use the amazing Keynote style functionality. I can create my slides. I can go next in my workshop. And that's exactly what I want to do. I'm not sure I'm going to use the time. I'm not sure I'm going to use the set the activities, because it doesn't look to do anything specific at this point. And yeah, now the big question is the breakout rooms. So that's something I should actually test. Breakout rooms with some friends. Breakout rooms. So what I'm gonna try is to start several windows of Miro with different devices and kind of simulate an actual workshop. So let's try to do that, or maybe I can just find some friends, right? Okay, so I've invited a few friends just to test how it looks like. So yeah, here they are. We are 3 now. Working on the board. So if I go to the first one, right? So I don't know if they're already following me. No, they're discovering the canvas. So if I go start, Okay, I see that they are joining, which is cool. And then I go next. Okay, that's nice. Like that's really like in the video, right? They are following the things, so I guess they can interact too. And then sprint questions. Yeah, so they see the same thing. Okay, that's super cool because I can guide them from one exercise to another one, and they are quite in autopilot. They can follow. Though I can see one of the participants is living his life, so. So I don't exactly know how it works for them on their side, but I assume that yeah, they are prompted to follow me when I need. So this is really cool. Now the breakout rooms. This looks a bit more complex. So I've set here breakouts. Same thing. I don't see any difference, so I assume I need to use this. Yeah, and I need to link with frames. So does it mean that? Yeah, I should have breakout rooms. Oops. I will go like that. Breakout rooms 1. Breakout room 1. And then should I add one like 2, for example? So the room 1 is linked with frame breakout room 1, the room 2 breakout rooms 2. Makes sense. And I will just add some stickies to work on. It could be about, we would use the breakout room and the sprint when we create the test plan, the scenario of the test. So typically I will give 4 to 5 stickies, yellow stickies. The people is like define the test plan. The test plan, and it could be group A, for example. And that could be the second one. If I split the team in 2 groups, for example, or if the prototype is too big, or no, it could be, prototype A. Let's go like that. Prototype A, and let's say it's a big prototype, so we have 2 prototypes, and we have prototype B. I will go like that. And then, so there is one group who works on one test plan, and the second group works on the second one. So basically, they will have to write the different steps in the test and the screens that we want to show and to create in the prototype. So breakout rooms 1 and 2. And then I can assign the participants. So how do I assign? Okay, the plus button. Okay, really cool. So I will go in A with the visiting artists. Great. And in that room, it will be Egle with the visiting explorer. Nice. Cool, and we are ready to rock. So I will go here, start breakout. Okay, nice. So here, okay, I work here, and I don't see the other participants who work basically in the other one. So I assume that we are on our own with the visiting artist, who is this one, and yeah, we can work. Blah, 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 blah. All right, and can I see what's happening in the room? Yeah, it's hard to tell, actually. If I stop the breakout and maybe I go like lock participants to link frame, that's interesting, and I start the breakout again. Okay, so the visiting artist can... yeah, so this is cool, because I have the visiting artist is me on the second screen, actually, and I see that I'm actually... Maybe I can show you the experience of the visiting artist. Wait. Yeah, so this is the experience of the visiting artist. He's here, and you see he can't escape. So he's trying to escape the room. He can't. He's always brought back. So this is really, really cool. It means that I can really have people locked in the space. They do the exercise, and then when I release them, they would be able to go somewhere else. Really, really, really nice feature. All right, so I can stop the breakout. I think that's it for today. Really, I'm amazed about the potential of the smart meeting of Miro. I'm very proud to have been a part of this story, giving some ideas, because it feels so great for me to, come up with some ideas in February. I see we are in October. What I was dreaming about has become live, and it's still an alpha version. It's still a bit early. I realized there are a couple of UX issues there and there to be addressed, but globally the tool works. I'm very, very excited about it. I'm thinking to actually rebuild my templates using this new smart meeting when it's going to be available. But I saw in the video that Jake is probably planning to distribute a new template too. So I will see with Jake which template is the best, and that's the one I'm going to use in my future sprints. But anyway, great job, guys. Great job, Miro. This looks super promising. This was the first time ever I used that tool, so you can also use this video to improve the alpha version, I hope. And yeah, stay tuned for future videos. Cheers, guys.